All right, so the video was already finished. I already put together my episode 56 of the newsreel. It was already uploading on YouTube when I saw the news that Binance was charged by the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission committee. Now, I thought this was such a big deal that it cannot wait another week, and I'm gonna do a TikTok on this, going through the whole thing, what's going on. But I thought I'd let you know that it is happening. Binance is not only being pressed by senators like Elizabeth Warren and other lawmakers, American and European, but it's actually being charged with a crime right now. And I'm going to read a little excerpt here for you. CFTC charges Binance and its founder, Chengpeng Zhao, with the willful evasion of federal law and operating an illegal digital asset derivatives exchange. Now, it sounds like a big deal because it is. Binance is the largest by volume and by many other measures exchange in the world. Well, it was founded by a Chinese person, and if you're watching the news at all these days, you know that China is being targeted, with precision rhetoric weapons right now. Not only rhetoric, there are actions taken by the first world lawmakers and bigwigs. So I'm not going to go too deep into this right now because I basically just got the news. I need to read through it and I need to basically process it a little better. But I thought I would append this little segment right in the beginning of the video so you guys get a better idea of what's going on in the world. And now let's go back to our regular programming. Hey there, Trustor fans. Quick reminder, we're running a promo right now. The terms and conditions are ridiculously easy. I'm going to leave all the links you're going to need in the description. You basically follow us on Twitter for a chance to win 20 USDT. That's more or less it. Offer ends on Friday, the 31st, so hurry up. You still got plenty of time to make an easy 20 USDT. And now, on to the Newsmobile. The 2023 economic report of the president is out, president of the United States, that is, with Chapter 8 devoted exclusively to digital assets. Quote, this chapter primarily examines crypto assets whose proponents have been relearning the lessons from previous financial crises the hard way, end quote. The Chapter 8 lays out the Biden administration's policy toward crypto. I gotta tell you, it's pretty strident, just as you'd expect after a huge disaster like FTX. It's basically the no-coiner view coming from the highest levels of power, so be sure to check that out. I'm gonna include the link to that report in the description. European Union policymakers are considering an anti-money laundering package with lots to say about crypto assets. Two committees of the European Parliament will pass judgment on the bill on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Today's Monday. After the committees do their thing, the full Parliament will vote on it before so-called interinstitutional negotiations take place. So far, I can tell that decentralized autonomous organizations and decentralized finance platforms will be subject to the new rules. NFT platforms will also have to face some regulatory changes. Credit and financial institutions will need to apply due diligence measures if enabling crypto transactions worth more than 1,000 euros, which is slightly over $1,000. Plus, there are enhanced due diligence measures for correspondent relationships with crypto service providers from outside the European Union, as well as for payments involving self-hosted wallets. Let's stay on this side of the pond for a while. The European banks faced another weekend of renewed fears surrounding their future as shares of Deutsche Bank plunged on the New York Stock Exchange on March 24th after a down day on Frankfurt's markets. Shares of the German bank were impacted by an increase in the cost of insuring against its potential default risk, with its 5-year credit default swaps climbing during the week and closing at 222 basis points on Friday. Fears about European banks are not limited to Deutsche Bank. European shares of Commerzbank, Societe Generale, and UBS also fell in European trading. So I guess it's fair to say that the banking crisis in the US has reached a global status and is at full swing right now. So congratulations, I guess, in order. NASDAQ is betting its established reputation will help it secure a strong place in the world of crypto, whatever may remain of it after regulators are done with it. Right now, the 52-year-old exchange operator is waiting on approval from the New York Department of Financial Services by the end of June to begin offering custody to clients. NASDAQ announced its intention to move into crypto following the collapse of Three Arrows and has been pushing ahead even with slumping cryptocurrency prices and the subsequent bankruptcies of FTX, Voyager Digital, and Celsius. As bankruptcy proceedings for FTX move forward, Debtors of the defunct crypto exchange have approved an agreement seeking to sell $95 million worth of its preferred stock in Miston Labs, the company behind the Sui blockchain. Court approval is still pending, as is the potential for other bids on the stocks. In a related headline, FTX is seeking to recover $460 million of allegedly misappropriated customer funds from venture capital firm Modulo Capital, which received a sizable investment from Alameda Research last year. The investment was reportedly directed by Sam Bankman-Fried, who faces multiple counts in federal court related to alleged fraud during his time as CEO. Duke Wan, co-founder of Terraform Labs and creator of the failed UST Luna cryptocurrency pair that took down the rest of crypto when it collapsed, was arrested in Montenegro on March 23rd. Kwan was detained at Podgorica airport with falsified documents. Also arrested was Han Chang-jun, Terraform's former chief financial officer. The two were sitting in a private plane bound for Dubai when authorities nabbed them. They used forged travel documents from Costa Rica and also had documents from Belgium and South Korea on them. 3 laptops and 5 mobile phones were also seized. We have an awesome video on that we produced for our TikTok channel. Make sure to subscribe to that. Moving on, the SEC has sent Coinbase a Wells notice, a threat that action is imminent. This notice is about the current version of the exchange's Earn product, the one that Coinbase said in its 10K earnings call was definitely not a security, probably. Coinbase's previous Earn product got a Wells notice before launch in September 2021. Coinbase didn't post the notice itself that time. They blustered, then folded, but they posted the notice this time. Matt Levine, one of my favorite people in finance and in crypto. Well, he's not really a crypto guy, but he's just freaking a powerhouse of finance. So Matt Levine thinks the SEC wants Coinbase to stop trading in securities at all and possibly just go away. Quote, if Bernie Madoff came to the SEC and said, if you want a higher class or more trustworthy Ponzi schemes, you will need to write a few new rules adapting the disclosure regime to Ponzi schemes. The SEC would have replied, no, we absolutely do not want that. We want much less Ponzi scheming, and we certainly do not want to give our approval to Ponzi schemers by writing rules for them. And Levine's quote. One gets a sense that their attitude to crypto is similar. Speaking of the SEC, it's really putting in the work lately. It's charged Justin Sun of Tron with issuing unregistered securities, the TRX and BTT tokens, and wash trading those securities. We actually have a cool video also. We've produced so many videos for TikTok because it's really fun making those things. Anyway, so we have a cool video on TikTok on the role some celebrities played in this venture. Also, the agency has issued a new alert to investors, quote, those offering crypto asset investments or services may not be complying with applicable law, including federal securities laws, end quote. Venezuela's energy supplier has shut down crypto mining facilities throughout the country as part of the reorganization of the National Crypto Department and ongoing corruption investigations involving the country's oil company. According to local media reports, crypto mining companies and tweets from Venezuela's National Association of Cryptocurrencies, mining facilities were shut down in the past days in the states of Lara, Carabobo, and Bolivar. It is unclear how many crypto firms were affected. Some crypto exchanges were also ordered to cease operations. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro announced a reorganization of the National Superintendency of Crypto Assets in a decree issued on March 17th, a few days ago. Maduro's administration claimed the decision was intended to protect the country's citizens from the negative effects of economic sanctions, among other reasons. But miners in Texas apparently having a ball. According to Texas Blockchain Council, the miners' power demands rise. Bitcoin miners consume about 2,100 megawatts of the state's power supplies. That power usage rose 75% last year and was nearly triple that of the prior 12 months. Those demands amount to about 3.7% of the state's lowest forecast peak load this year, according to data from grid operator Electric Reliability Council of Texas. Granted, we don't have the figures for the first quarter of 2023 yet. Also, the bummer is that the industry is still facing new federal regulations, including a proposed 30% tax on electricity usage for digital mining, and calls by the U.S. Treasury Secretary and Commodities Regulator for a more stringent regulatory framework. So let's hope these guys make it. And capping the topic of mining on a positive note, the Montana State Senate recently passed a bill designed to protect crypto miners operating within the state. The proposed law, which is currently making its way through the state's House of Representatives, seeks to protect both individual and commercial miners in Montana against discriminatory laws by scrapping some of the rules that have the potential to undermine their operations. Specifically, the bill seeks to protect miners against taxes on digital assets used as a means of payment. Additionally, it endeavors to permit home crypto miners who use less than 1 megawatt of energy annually to do so, except when in contravention of existing noise bylaws. Furthermore, the bill seeks to do away with the energy rate classification that discriminates against home crypto mining and digital asset businesses. In a class action against the Uphold Exchange, Judge Denise Cote in the Southern District of New York has found that the Electronic Funds Transfer Act applies to crypto, specifically Reg E of the Act, Regulation E of the Act. Reg E provides consumer protections over unauthorized transactions, error resolutions, and provision of receipts and periodic statements. Crypto exchanges are not at all set up for dealing with all this, so they might want to get on it. In a letter calling Binance a hotbed of illegal activity, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts, along with 2 other senators, had asked Binance to provide balance sheets, data on the number of U.S. users, internal policies relating to AML, as well as written policies regarding the relationship between Binance and Binance US. Binance responded with a 14-page letter describing its compliance history and saying it has a team of 750 compliance staffers, all without addressing the requested financials. Okay, this is a brand new one. This is going to be like our new rubric within the newsreel. Basically, we're dropping some 2-3 liners on you and include the links to the news items we deem worthy of your attention. So here we go. After the demise of Silvergate and Signature, U.S. crypto firms lament that they can't find banking partners. CoinDesk asked several banks about crypto, and those that bothered replying said they don't want any crypto customers. The Kraken crypto exchange will no longer support ACH transfers following the implosion of Silvergate. Quote, beginning March 27th, you'll no longer see a deposit option via Plaid or withdrawal option via ACH Silvergate. The Australian Prudential Regulation Authority has told banks to improve their reporting on crypto assets and provide APRA with daily updates. Important. The Federal Reserve has just published its full order denying Custodia Bank's application for an account at the Fed. It's kind of sad, actually. We'll detail this more next time, but there's no way they're letting Custodia near the financial system. That's basically it. That's kind of sad. I'm a huge fan of Gateway Loans. Crypto advertising in Belgium will need to be submitted to the Financial Services and Markets Authority 10 days in advance for approval from May 17th. And finally, alert to paparazzi and get your glam on. Metaverse Fashion Week is back for another year. Decentraland will host a series of runways, design competitions, boutiques, and panels in the virtual world from March 28th to 31st. The theme is Future Heritage. That's actually a quote, Future Heritage. I have no idea what that means. Brands like Adidas and Coach will join for the first time, while returning participants include Dolce & Gabbana, Tommy Hilfiger, and DKNY. Interestingly, Decentraland's own designer community of so-called neo-designers will take the virtual stage, so we'll have a chance to see what the young bucks have to virtually offer to their virtual clientele. Anyway, so this is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube. Remember the promo that we're running on Twitter. Get your chance to win 20 USDT. You got 3 more days to do so. And subscribe to our TikTok. We have plenty of great videos up there. They're all kind of short and sweet and very entertaining. So be sure to subscribe to that. Well, thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.